What?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Episode 222. Final episode of 2020. I think I can say with confidence, and everyone agrees. Fuck 2020.
Right.
A whole wide range of
Thank
reasons.
God.
I like 2020.
Right, pretty much. A whole bunch of craziness, but yeah, thankfully, my 2020 wasn't too bad, but did have to travel, move back across the planet, and a whole bunch of other crazy nonsense this year. So. But definitely lined up a lot of cool stuff for 2021. So I think it'll be a good year next year. We thought we'd kind of go over some, kind of different things that happened this year, some helpful hints and tips, and just some different things that kind of happened in 2020 in regards to cannabis that maybe people didn't realize or talk about. We also have Marty. How's it going?
Better if I could hit my mute button. It's good, man. Just kind of hanging out, smoking. Got a friend over for New Year's, just kind of chilling. And yeah, well, I guess it's been, true 2020 fashion. I found looks like a couple seeds forming on some of my indoor, so that's always not ideal when you're not trying to make seeds. So obviously something hermed out in there, and I don't know. I looked around, I couldn't find anything. By now it's probably fallen off. By the time you can visibly see seeds, it's pretty much too late to go looking for whatever pollinated them. So, and not a big surprise, because again, I don't, I'm not spending a ton of time in there, putting a lot of work into it. It's just, I'm so busy doing other stuff that, don't have time to put eyes on plants, so I didn't catch them beforehand. But it's only one small little section, so definitely not the end of the world. Other than that, they'll be done here in a couple of weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. I'll be able to start pulling them down. I did load up another couple of beds, so those are just were just transplanted into the flower room last night or the night before, I don't remember. So they'll just start going into flower. A couple of weeks, I'll pull the ones that are finishing up, and then I have plants ready to go that I'll pull out of the bedroom, put them in the flower room, and I'll leave them on that flip-flop. So, basically half the room harvesting at a time and just in perpetual flower. So be interesting to see how that goes for a couple of runs. Now I can compare it to, doing an entire run, which I don't really have that much of a problem with, other than it's just a lot to harvest at a time, and process is just one person. It's a lot easier to split up.
Yeah, I was at a grow earlier this week, and they had, gotten the room there on week 3 of flower, and I politely pointed out that they had 2 males in the room of a considerable amount of plants that their grower had missed. So that was kind of funny. Always kind of awkward when you have to point that shit out.
Yeah, when I point out spider mites and stuff to my friends at their grows and stuff, they're not super happy about it either.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
you know about this over here? Although I still battle thrips. That's another thing, and it's just because they're in the native soil. So I've been just mixing Botanic Garden with all my soil that I'm bringing in from the compost or wherever else, and that's really been. Between that and the nematodes, I think I'll probably get some road beetles and maybe finish them off. But fun stuff like that.
And we also have Roger from True Aquaponics. How's it going, Roger?
Hey guys, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, Roger.
Happy New Year, almost.
Yay.
Yeah, Terry's here too. She's off to the side, out of camera view, but she's here.
Awesome.
Say howdy.
Uh,
That's it. Well, anyway, she's here. Trust me.
We also have our nutrient website, apmjnewts.com or apcananewts.com, depending on which one is easier for you. You can check that out and get all your aquaponic cannabis nutrients. We have all of them individual. If you want to go ahead and dose yourself, or you can go ahead and get the nutrient packs. I saw there's a guy over on Aquaponic Reddit that's got a grow going on there using the nutrients. So I'm excited to kind of see people out there using them in the real world, and cool to see people out doing that. We've been selling quite a few of those, so definitely check that out if you're looking for nutrients for your aquaponic cannabis grow. They're all fish safe when used as directed. So what's some of the new stuff that you've been getting a lot of questions about there at True Aquaponics? What are kind of the top issues you saw people have for 2020 this year with their aquaponic systems?
In 2020, the biggest questions were, how do I make my plants grow bigger and faster when it comes to cannabis? So that's one of the things that we worked on this year was putting together formulations of minerals, whether they be micronutrients or macronutrients, to help people grow plants the quickest way possible with the best output. And a lot of folks we've seen out there, whether they're growing in soil or in aquaponics or hydroponics, they end up with plants that are deficient in many ways. And we have totally revamped the feeding of those plants and started producing the highest quality cannabis you can imagine. That's been very important to us. And it's I believe it's important to a lot of the listeners to have that happen. And it also for a much lower price than what you get buying minerals that are in liquid form. So the problem with liquid form is you end up paying for shipping for water versus shipping powder, and everything we've got is in powder form. So it's pure. You know what's in it. It's proven aquaponic safe because we've been using it for years, every bit of it, in aquaponics, and people are having results, real results that they can show in the world, the real world. It's not just a fantasy, hey, my plants are doing great. They actually show pictures to us of their plants doing wonderful. So that's what we've been up to this year. And in 2021, when all this other crap's over, it's going to be great.
What other questions have you had in your Facebook group and some of the other things that you've kind of seen just over the course of the year that were maybe some of the more common problems that people were having that, with their systems or other things?
The most often we see are pest issues. If somebody's got their system dialed in, the biggest issue we've seen is pests. Whether it be aphids or russet mites, things of that nature. And powdery mildew has been a big one on the veggie side, especially as of late as it's cooled down and high humidity is happening in greenhouses. People are getting powdery mildew a lot. So before that, back in the summer and fall, it was mostly nutrient deficiencies they were asking about. Trying to figure out what do they need to do to get their plants going, whether it be cannabis or veg. They were looking for answers of how to handle those issues. So we may have just lost.
What's that? Oh, I guess he's having some issues.
I think we lost connection.
No, you're good.
We're having a lot of rain down here right now, so it's our internet's in and out.
Yeah, I'm a few hours north of you, and it's pretty rough today.
Right. Yeah, it's been a bad day for rain. It's messing with our signal. So
Yeah, we've been right
yeah, I
on
mean,
the, we've been right on the ice line all day, so I
we
was
enjoy that.
curious. I was curious as to whether or not we were going to even have power for the podcast.
No, I'm in here. It's been an hour.
You want him in this house? All right, so Terry says if you get your shot, you can stay here one night.
Oh, okay, well, it'll be a while then.
So anyway, yeah, let's see. Some of the most common questions. I mean, most of them that I get are pest issues, but the overwhelming amount is deficiencies in plants. I mean, it's obviously that's where we're focused is minerals for plants. So people come to us and say, hey, what's wrong with our plants? Why are our plants yellow when they're supposed to be green? And people think that, cannabis being a weed, it'll grow anywhere. And that's just not the case. I mean, it will grow anywhere, just like anything else, but it doesn't grow well if it doesn't have proper minerals. So, I mean, if it's just like a person. If you don't feed a person properly, they don't grow well. So that's the biggest question is how do I make my plants grow better? How do I get the best return for my input? And that's what we do.
Got a question from chat. What fish do you folks have? Is one species better than another for aquaponics, and why? I guess I'll let Roger answer that first, and then we'll let Marty go next.
We typically raise channel cat. That's just our fish of choice because we like the way they taste. But we've also raised goldfish and koi and had great success out of them. It's really a matter of what you want. And if you're trying to sell it locally, you need to make sure it's a fish that the local market wants. So that's really what it's about is what do you want? What does your local market want? Are you going to eat the fish? If you're not going to eat the fish, then go with a goldfish or koi, something that's beautiful to look at and enjoy it, because that's in the end, that's what's most important is are you enjoying what you're doing? And if you're eating it, then you want to enjoy what you're eating. If you're looking at it, you want to enjoy what you're looking at. Yes. So that's what it's 100% about when it comes to aquaponics in our view.
Yeah, I would agree with most of that. I would say that the first decision to make is whether or not you want to have a food fish or not. If you want to have a food fish, then obviously that changes things. It also depends on your climate. I would encourage you to look around in your native area and see what survives well in your normal temperature swings. And again, channel cats are a great option. They are super survivable in a number of different climates. They have a high survivability rate. So, definitely whatever you end up choosing, just kind of know that all of them are going to have their quirks, but the more tolerable ones are kind of the ones. Perch is another, common ones that you like to eat. Make sure you raise something you like to eat. Don't buy 500 tilapia before you ever taste a tilapia and decide whether or not you like it. So if you're going to raise a food fish, just, raise what you like to eat and then put every consideration in place for that. As long as it's not way outside the box. I wouldn't be trying to raise like a tropical fish if you live in northern Canada. It's going to be difficult. So yeah, that's what I would say, that koi is probably going to be my favorite of your decorative fish. Nothing wrong with goldfish other than they're just usually they don't hold any type of like resale value. So for whatever reason, like let's say you grow them out for 5 years, you can sell those koi for a reasonable amount of money in a pet market. But goldfish, nobody's after a 5-year-old, just regular old goldfish. So I would say that koi are going to be just as hardy and handle your temperature swings. And I personally had them for a number of years and in a number of different water quality and temperature ranges, all the way from frozen water on top to super hot in the summertime. So I would definitely say they are the more tolerable. And if you're just looking for nutrient machines like I am most of the time, I've raised catfish. Not much of a challenge there, other than some of their breeding practices. They can fight a lot in warmer waters and stuff like that, but pretty easy. I would say the more tolerable ones. Yeah, and then obviously tilapia are super easy to breed, so that would be another big plus if you're going to do a breeding program. Channel cats, you probably have to, again, spend a little bit more time breeding than you do tilapia, and they don't produce as many at one time, but still relatively easy to breed if you want to. Yeah, they're just really what you like is almost the most important factor if you're going to do anything besides decorative fish. Any food fish, just find out what you like to eat. If you like salmon and trout, they have their little nuances too. You have to keep the water temperature much colder and much cleaner than you do for a lot of your bottom feeders, your more of your lake varieties. So they all have their different niches. But if you lived in a cold area, it might be an advantage to grow trout or salmon, just because it's going to be easier for you to do that. Now your plants may not like it as much, or you might have to put different things in place to make that work. So it all depends. They all have their place, I think, depending on where you're at, what you like to eat, what the purpose is. But your generic ones, I would say tilapia, catfish, for your edible fish, and koi or goldfish for your decorative ones. And pretty much any type of goldfish. You can have comets or all those different, the big-eyed ones and all the different variations, just like you would any old fish tank. They'll eat fish food and make poop. That's all you need.
Yeah, the issue you have with salmonids, and to a lesser extent anything that goes from saltwater to freshwater, is they tend to absorb potassium much more readily, making them not the best choice for flowering and fruiting crops. Well, you can do it. They are really one of the handful that really should be done in a decoupled type setup. Again, not something that we recommend. It can be done. It's overly complicated and has a lot of problems. But hey,
people do it though,
yeah,
right? Is it Stewart Farms, or which one is it? Does the salmon?
Habitat Life is doing
Habitat
it. They're
Life.
actually doing. Remember when we had him back on for the conference, he was doing it single coupled. Remember, he'd stopped doing it decoupled. So I think he did a bunch of pheno
one or something like that.
Yeah, they did a bunch of pheno hunting. A lot of people that are doing that way are doing a lot of pheno hunting to get the lower feeding cultivars, but that limits you quite a bit. So.
Cool. So what about you, Steve? Favorite fish?
So the last couple of grows I've done in Africa, we were doing sharp tooth catfish because they were the best price. They were more expensive than tilapia. And then in Oklahoma, we've mostly been using tilapia or koi, mainly butterfly koi. They tend to resell for a little bit better. And then before that, I've also did some bluegill, perch. I've done most of the different fish, different people at this point. We did snakeheads for India. That was kind of an interesting build out, but the best ones I would say is just koi and tilapia really are the kind of the go-to, and then you can kind of go from there. If you want to get a better plate price, any of your panfish, bluegill or sunfish or yellow perch are going to be, probably your next best bet in terms of plate price and growth speed. They all grow really fast. Pacu would be another one. If you can find a good buyer, pacu grow incredibly fast. In fact, there's a few fish that grow faster than pacu. I'd highly recommend them as well. So I was going to bring up how, it was pretty cool in 2020 how cannabis went from being kind of a problem industry to being an essential business that was literally protected by the government and, was one of the handful of businesses that was allowed to stay open. in the middle of the plague. So that was a huge step for cannabis and acceptance long term. So really big on that. And then we also had for this year we had South Dakota, New Jersey, Missouri, Montana, and Arizona all passed legalization. We're now up to 1/3 of the country. 111 million people now live within recreational cannabis. We only have 300 and some million in the whole country. So, a whole third of the country's population now has legal weed. I think if you'd told any of us that 5 years ago, none of us would have believed that. So, it's a big thing.
Yeah, very cool. And I think we'll get more. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a pretty steady climb. I don't think that. I mean, we might have some holdouts, or those fake legalization systems that'll pop up. Florida, that's been legal forever, but nobody actually growing. Like, was it like 4 years for them to get online or some shit like that?
Yeah, it's something completely insane. And you have to have been. Remember, you had to have been a nursery grower for like 25 years or something completely asinine originally. Like the requirements were just completely insane on the original set. So I didn't. And then we also had a whole bunch of cool guests this year. I was going to bring that up. Let me pull that up here. Yeah. Let's talk about, what have you done over the course of the year, Marty, with your stuff and your grow? And
yeah, wow. So excuse me, you caught me snacking. Let's see, the start of the year was basically getting the system online. I think the indoor system was just starting veg, and we got harvested the first flower run maybe like June or July-ish, something like that. So it was just a lot of getting things set up and prepping stuff. So shooting all that content that's up there now. It's just been a long year when you think about like where it all started, I guess. Seems like a long time ago, but flower rooms, in perpetual flower now, which is great. It'll just continue to be in production, and the cloning stuff is all set up and functional. So we're pumping out all our own clones and feeding the flower room and keep them caught up. Like I was saying, I just loaded some up in the other room pretty much right on schedule, and they're all about the right size. So just kind of getting everything sorted out, that normal first year of production where you're just kind of solving little problems, figuring out how you want to handle stuff, normal new grow stuff. So I'm looking forward to staying here for a while, basically. Not having to move and set everything up again. It's like, I'm feeling the drag of like getting all that stuff set up, and because I just got done setting up all that stuff at our last house, and then we had to move again. So now it's going to be nice to just keep going instead of have to restart again. So I'm excited for that, and just to kind of now just looking at things like picking what genetics I want to run and sorting out the timing for when I'll have enough clones and when the plants will be big enough. So it's nice to have different problems than I had at the beginning of the year. So obviously things are progressing. My dad's still dealing with Parkinson's, so I've been dealing with that all year. It just seems like a battle, but hey, it's another year. He wasn't in a nursing home, and he was here spending time with us, so that's been good. I wish he'd let me help give him some more meds. I decided to stop doing that, so unfortunate, but that is what it is. So yeah, 2020 has obviously been a wild year for everybody, and self included. Obviously my dad's place burned to the ground, so where I grew up, I grew up, for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Happy Camp, California, which is where the Slater fire primarily was this year, and burn up my dad's house, my aunt's house. That place was homesteaded in, I want to say, 1904. And yeah, so that's obviously a lot to process and be able to go through. And we've had quite a year of dealing with FEMA and lawyers and all kinds of other things that complicate pretty much everything. So definitely glad to have survived the year, and still be all right, really. I mean, it's not, we still got everyone. Nobody that in my immediate family is one of the 350,000 people now that have died from COVID. So just feeling like we've avoided it for as long as we have is a success story, if you will. I consider my dad to be a high risk for COVID, so it's been a long time. What's it been, since March or April, I think, that we've been in lockdown? So the majority of the year, not lockdown, but under COVID restrictions. So it's just been a lot, just kind of grinding it out, trying to get everything done that we can and keep going. And really have done all right in terms of just progressing through the year, working on new stuff all the time. I'm working on a new rain catchment system, which I'll be uploading some stuff. The Teachable, man, I can't believe I didn't even think about that. We spent so much time shooting content this year, getting all of that done, 600 plus slides, each one with their own video and discussion attached to them and different stuff, which we're still working on getting uploaded, but at least the content is done for us. And finding the Teachable platform and being able to set all that stuff up and get it online has been great, so that we can really focus on making content instead of reteaching the class multiple times a year. I really feel like it's going to move us forward into even cooler stuff and allow us to bring people with us, which is always great. Man, I got some great messages this year from users, growers, people that listen to the podcast, people that deal with Parkinson's, just all kinds of people that, learned how to grow through the Facebook group that we run for their husband that has PTSD and is getting off his PTSD medications that didn't feel like was good for him. And they had no idea how to grow, but they were able to pull off harvest their first time. And I think they've done like 2 or 3 runs since then. So all of those messages are just really inspirational for me personally, to hear that, all of this hours and hours worth of content that we sit here every Thursday and create actually goes to, a number of different people that need or benefit from it, is really cool. So I appreciate all of those messages that I've gotten this year. And I feel like I've gotten more of them this year than I have any year. I just got one the other day, shortly after my birthday, which was really cool. And so, yeah, I just love that feedback, and looking forward to doing more interactive stuff with the class. We're going to start doing whiteboard sessions, which I feel like is going to be really cool. So much about the Teachable has in the class has developed over this last year. For all that to finally come together at the end of the year is great. And we're just going to have, every about 3 days or so, I'm uploading another 10 to 20 videos with new slides and different stuff. And so we'll just keep grinding through that and get all 622 or something like that.
I think the full slide deck is 635 slides, but then we also have like a bunch of other presentations that we've included and a ton of in-person video. Sorry about the background noise. It is raining crazy hard here. Like Roger was saying, I'm in the same storm as him. I'm just north of him, about 2.5, 3 hours. It is just raining. It's also like 31 degrees out, so it's quite wonderful out.
Yeah, good time to go take a shower.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I'm super happy with the Teachable platform. We have a whole bunch of additional classes we're going to bring you. I have almost a dozen different courses that I've put together, some of which have never been seen the light of day. I have a whole tropical aquarium fish class. We have a whole bunch of other cool content that just I've never had a chance to actually teach. So we're going to be bringing those online as well, along with putting out content every month. I think Marty and I were talking this over. I think we're going about twice a month. We're going to put out new content once the bulk of the classes is up there, or once the full original course is out there. We're going to put it out in chunks, and then we're also going to take your questions. When students ask questions, we're going to reply back to you right away, but we're also going to take your question and then shoot an answer to that. So be it in Marty's whiteboard, or if I have to make some slides for it or whatever. I think that having that kind of long format system that's just going to be, grow and grow and grow as an answer library for you guys is going to also be a really cool kind of additional thing to help, additionally supplement the content that we already have planned for the next year for the system. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're also working on commercial content as well, for commercial training and some other cool stuff that we're going to be adding to. I know Marty's been working hard to get the coaching and consulting portion of it up and running. That'll be available here probably in a week or two. So I'm definitely be looking forward to talking about that probably next week. Yeah, also too, super stoked to have merch. Finally, you can check it out in the description. I'll make sure that it's in there. Jesse, our friend Jesse up in Canada, worked real hard. Hold on, let me make sure I get the link in here. But she's been working real hard for us on getting content together for our online store. So we have a whole online store. If you go to jellybomb.com, you can click on the affiliate section there on the right hand side, or I think it's affiliates or whatever it's, so whatever. There's a people we're working with or whatever it says at the top, and click on that, and it'll say Aquaponic cannabis, and you click that, and then we have a whole bunch of Aquaponic and cannabis t-shirts and stuff on there, so that was something that we've had a lot of questions about, and we finally got up and running, so super excited about that. And then I wanted to go back and talk about the guests we've had this year. So we had the first guest we had last year, or this year, was actually Josh Steensland. And he's always fun to have on. And then we had Candace Evans, Josh Rutherford, Chief Cultivator, Liam Keys, shout out, Jared Panks, doing the sign language stuff. Super awesome. Love having them. Him and Angela, great people.
Yeah, him and his wife are awesome. Shout out to them. I had coffee with them. They actually live here pretty close by, and they do a lot of great stuff. They got referenced in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which is really cool. So if you guys haven't seen that, check it out. When they talk about the weed they grow from the deaf growers, that's who they're referencing, is the group that Angela works with there. So that was super awesome. And they got met up with all kinds of different Hollywood icons. They've got pictures with like Mike Tyson and Cheech and Chong and all kinds of different people. So shout out to them. They're great people. Super awesome.
Heck yeah. Then we had Fish Shit, and then we had Gus, the African plant hunter. He was super cool. I actually met him in Zimbabwe. We did an actual in-person interview there at a fancier hotel there in town, which was super neat. And then Angela Tenenbrock talking about food safety, Tanner Stewart. We had Donovan Clark, Roger from True Aquaponics, Scotty from Dude Grows. And then we'll go back here. And then we had Marty. You did the hash workshop right around 420. I had forgotten about that. And then we did the spring planting and planting. And then we did a Chris Trump talk, and then another one with Roger. And then we had Joey from Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. Absolutely one of my favorite YouTube channels if you guys haven't seen it already. Spartan Grown, another great dude in the community, does a lot of hard work. Then we had our 200th episode. We had a a whole ludicrous list of people for that one. And then Q&A, Summer Pest Guide, Kevin McKernan, that was super cool, talking about COVID and cannabis. We had Chris Trump give us a tour of the grow he was working on. We had pest management presentation we did. We had a bunch of summer sessions on summer topics. Brendan from Spectrum King. We had Robbie Vincent talk to us about all kinds of cool stuff. We had Jake Williams talk about the future of aquaponics. We had Vermin Supreme, which was freaking awesome.
Vermin Supreme.
We had Wayne Justman on a bunch. We had Nick Resden on from who's kind of the cannabis survivor, I think is probably the best way to put it. And then Jordan River from Growcast. I was just hanging out with him yesterday on his he has like a separate live only show that they do for members of his group. I think it's a Grow Pass, I think is what it's called. And then we'll actually be on his episode a week from yesterday. On next Wednesday, we'll be on the Growcast episode. So check that out. Marty and I did a recording with him, talking about some of our newer projects. And then we had the Aquaponic man, I don't even know how we forgot about this. The virtual Aquaponic Cannabis Conference. We had talked about doing that for like 2 or 3 years, and we finally got together. We had I actually had 3 different farms reach out to me after the after we hosted it, and we're like, oh man, if we had known, we would have totally signed up. So we actually we're getting ready to plan for next year. We're gonna do another one again, probably in I'm not sure if we're going to do it in October, but we're going to definitely do it near the end of the year again. And then, include some new farms and some new people and some new topics, and try and diversify the topics. I really like the 1 hour talks, and I think that it was a big success from this year. And I know I certainly enjoyed it and learned a lot. I think a lot of people will, kind of have their first taste of what a more formal aquaponic cannabis geared conference could look like. So I was really excited to put that together. It was a lot of work, and it was fun.
The aquaponic conference, I can't believe I forgot about that too. That was an entire 3 days worth of content, of just speaker after speaker after speaker. That was awesome. And so yeah, thanks again, Steve, for organizing like 90% of that, and let me be a part of it. I was just going through that the other day. I cut some of the video out to upload to the teachable class as well. So for, I think it was, I want to say Sunday morning was when I spoke. Sunday morning, I did a talk on a whiteboard session on dual root zone and on U siphons. So that's going to go up onto the cut up and upload it on the class, because not everybody has access to YouTube. Some people want to be able to download it or view it other ways. So plus we're a little concerned YouTube might just pull all of our shit. So might as well put it in more than one spot and just back up at this point.
That was the other thing that happened this year. They've threatened to cancel my channel 3 separate times. I've been within 1 strike away from losing my whole channel, and then after some talking to YouTube, get the strikes removed. But it's really annoying that we get constantly harassed. I've had to go back and remove almost all the links from most of our videos and replace them with links to guest social media in order to prevent issues, because they kept hitting us for mainly predominantly links to guests' websites. So they hit us for MSP, Dragonfly, Breeder Steve, a whole bunch of just random, makes no sense flagging.
So I get a random text from Steve at like 11:30 at night. Dude, can you back up my whole YouTube channel? I just got another strike.
Yeah, okay. I had an issue with my backup drive, and they threatened me again the other day, and I had a bit of a panic attack.
I would have done the same thing. It's just I blame YouTube. It's fucking stupid, flagging somebody over my.
I went and bought a whole new 4 terabyte drive for Christmas and backed everything up. But God, you know, it's just frustrating to put so much work into something and then have to
when you're
deal
one
with that.
strike away from having all your shit deleted.
Yeah, and it's just so frustrating to have that happen. And again, thankfully, I was able to write them an email and explain them everything and link to the actual website with screenshots. And they actually did listen when I actually got a human. But if you just get the algorithm, you're boned, man. They don't care. You know, it's really frustrating. So that was the other big thing that happened this year. And do I have a backup channel? Yes, we have a backup channel. If anyone is interested, you can always go to our Growing with Fishes podcast is the backup channel. Mirror on BitChute. So I actually had it a BitChute when they first opened, and then they like got weird about weed content or drug content for a while. So I was like, oh, another platform that's going to be a pain in the ass. So we'll see if it ends up being a little more weed friendly. We might just go back to WeedTube. I actually was originally one of the first partners on WeedTube, and we might just go back to them because they're
Yeah, we
super
live
chill.
streamed on.
Yeah, we used to live stream on there for quite a while until the platform, they had some kind of back end issue for a couple of weeks, and we just kind of stopped streaming after that on there because of it. But we might end up just doing that. We have all the videos and all the content backed up now in multiple places, so they can, you know, fire away. And while it would be angering and frustrating, nothing would be lost. So.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, all that happened this year too. So that's all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, YouTube's been bugging me for years, but.
And then we had Leo Bridgewater. That was your friend, I believe, right?
Leo Bridgewater?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh no, he was the legal guy working with the legality stuff with the
All right. Yeah,
cannabis
no, I remember
bill.
him.
That's what it was. Took me a minute to remember. And then we had Casual Fields. They have that awesome comfrey ferment product.
Shout out to Casual Fields.
Yeah, big supporters of the show. Yeah.
So they've been a big help too on Instagram and stuff. They're all in when I'm posting pictures. I tagged them in. I have that one giant leaf from the seed sprout that I had, and I had fed it their ferment. So I tagged them on it and was like, "Hey, fed this plant with some of your stuff, and worked great." I still have some, and I still use it pretty sparingly. It's pretty strong. But shout out to them. They sent me, I think, 3 jugs of their comfrey extract. It stinks, but it's that, you know, ferment type stink as it should be. So it's definitely highly effective. They ship it as a concentrate, which I'm a big fan of, because then you're not shipping nearly as much water weight. It's much more cost effective. So you are shipping some water weight, but it's at such a high concentration that it's at least a higher value. So, and you know, if it's a ferment, you kind of have to have some liquid value to it. There's not really much way around it. So, I really appreciate them sending this stuff out and being supportive on social media. So they've been really helpful. Also, shout out to Mars Hydro and Bloom Plus, who both provided me with tester lights. You guys might have saw a recent video I uploaded for the unboxing of the Bloom Plus. And I've got both of those lights hung up now, and I shot videos just earlier that will be going up on that, also on the Teachable as well. I'll be doing more in-depth comparisons of the 2 lights for our LED section. So we have an entire section dedicated to LED and to HID and CMH and all your different types of lighting. And I have a couple of those, so I'll be updating those with, you know, the videos about the lights that I do have. So again, Mars Hydro, Bloom Plus both provided excellent tester lights of their newest models. I think it's the SP150 for the Mars Hydro and the BP3000 for the Bloom Plus. And they've both been doing really well so far, so make sure to keep an eye on that if you want to see what type of output they have compared to my ceramic metal halide lights. Both the LEDs are less wattage, so the Mars Hydro are 150 and the Bloom Plus is 300. So they're pumping a little less power than the 300, or consuming less power than the 330 watt ceramic metal halide. But the 300 watt is every bit as bright. I don't have a par meter, which I should probably get one and will eventually. But you just, by the eye test, it looks like the LED is brighter than the ceramic metal halides, just side by side, even though it's 30 watts less. So pretty good impression of them so far. Obviously the proof is always in the pudding, or in this case, the weed. So we'll see, see how it turns out. I have a couple lights, or a couple plants that are finishing up under these lights. And then I also have some that I just loaded up underneath them. So we'll see an entire run underneath each one of them coming up here shortly. And hopefully we'll have a Spectrum King as well. We're working on getting that, hopefully in the next couple months, getting a tester light from them. And there's one other company, I can't think of their name right now, also that contacted me on YouTube as well about doing a tester light for.
Hold on. I bet you they're
stuff.
in my inbox too. Is it, hold on. Someone just sent me like a bunch of spider or something.
Spider, that's it. Yeah. Spider Farmer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good.
that's I'm working on getting Spider Farmer and Spectrum King will be in the next rotation. So then I'll have 4 different LEDs to test side by side with the ceramic metal halide. So that'll be fun. I'll just kind of keep building the library. And since I'll be in perpetual flower, I can pretty much always just swap in a light and throw in some plants and start up a new grow. So it won't be side by side, you know, because some of them will start at different times. A traditional side by side would start all of them at the same time. But we'll be able to see the results of each one and test them all.
Awesome. And then we did some election stuff, and then we did the Christmas guide, which was super fun. And then yeah, took a week or 2 off for Christmas, and then we got this episode. So we'll be ready for next year. We have we'll be doing one with I can't remember the gentleman's name right off the top of my head, but he used to work for Green Relief. A lot of you guys don't know, the Green Relief had some issues regarding some of their management, and had some of their people leave. And one of the guys that wasn't allowed to talk anymore is kind of allowed to talk anymore, a little bit more now. So we'll be able to get him on the show, and that'll be a lot of fun talking about some aquaponic cannabis stuff up in Canada. And then we have some other cool people that are in the pipeline as well. So yeah, just looking forward to that. And then just doing a bunch of content. We'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff on small systems, a bunch of stuff on Korean natural farming, a couple of build outs here in the first part of the year. We're going to be doing a tour of Vertica's large facility here soon. I'm going to go back up there and do some work with Bain, so that'll be fun.
My greenhouse build will happen in the beginning of this year too. So we'll have looking like it'll probably be something like either 10 or 12 feet by about 60 feet kind of budget light depth greenhouse. So we'll have build videos for that on the Teachable and tour videos on YouTube. So that'll be exciting.
Sweet. If anyone's interested in checking out the class we talked about earlier, I don't think we ever gave the actual website. You can check that out at apmjclass.com. We have that full, it's about 5 or 6 days worth of content now and growing. I haven't actually looked at what the new content is. And then there's a couple sections I think we're going to go back and extrapolate on quite a bit more and add to as they go on. We've been kind of making notes and stuff as we've been editing and everything like that. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's just kind of a huge wealth of content that is a nice nice supplement to the stuff that we've already put out there on the podcast and everything else. So yeah, just a lot of fun. And then just have a bunch of new projects going up next year, a bunch of new states, a bunch of new places I haven't grown in before, so that's always fun. and some other cool new projects that are not cannabis related that we'll be talking about. So that'll be fun as well. But actually, maybe not even on the podcast. We might have to do separate audio only podcast or something, because YouTube will peg us pretty quickly if I start talking. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anyways, things of the fungal variety.
Fun guys.
Yeah. I guess, is there anything else you wanted to mention for this year, or this year's worth of content before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I want to definitely, all the people that sent us samples or supported the podcast, stuff for the giveaways, all the speakers at the Aquaponic conference, all the guests that we just talked about, especially the repeat guests, the guys that come back and support us again, the Growcast, the Dude Grow Show, all of those people that have had us on their shows or had Steve on their shows, Shaping Fire podcast, all the different ones that really line up with the same stuff. Dragonfly Earth Medicine, all the people that Josh from Dutch Blooms, has been on the podcast over and over again, and was at the Aquaponic conference. Gave a great tour. If you want to see a great tour of a flow through greenhouse design in production, that's a great example to check that out. And big shout out to him for just sharing that information. Is as good as gold, man. You can take that one tour and make a ton of stuff you need. All the guys that support the podcast. Roger from ILoveGrowingMarijuana.com. I haven't seen him in a while. He texted me not too long ago, so I know he's still around. But he's been on just tons of times and always asks great questions. And so big shout out to him. So many
Mr.
people.
Green Jeans,
Jesse,
too.
Yeah, Mr. Green Jeans. Jesse for setting up the store. And all of the designs that she did for the T-shirts, the Aquaponic conference, all that stuff. Everybody in the Cannabis Growers group that's supportive in there. For the most part, people are pretty respectful, especially as far as Facebook groups go. Obviously, we know social media gets pretty rough, but the admins that help us do that. Obviously, Steve and I can't be available all the time to monitor everyone's comment sections and delete all the spammers and everyone trying to sell weed and all the cops. They can't stop their bullshit long enough for us to talk about growing some weed. So thanks to those moderators that help us out on the back end and keep all the comments clean and all of that stuff. And again, those people that send those the inspirational thank you messages, those are really the best payment I feel like we get out of doing all this. Like none of it pays any bills or any of that stuff. So it's definitely, as far as the podcast go, we've done, what is this, 222 episodes.
Yeah, we're to this year we broke 500 hours of content this year, which is also super cool.
500 hours, that's crazy. So yeah, just that's the best form of payment we get from you guys in terms of the work we do on the podcast. I just love getting those messages. So if anything, just shout out to those people that are willing to do that, to have the courage to just be like, hey, I'm gonna grow my husband some new medicine, or I'm going to take on growing medicine for somebody that I know is about to go through cancer treatment, or any of the different things that some of these people have been against cannabis until they needed it for a reason, and sometimes that's a tough spot to be in. So just that they were able to listen and have gratitude and welcome someone else to the team, I'm always on board for that. So when we get those people through the Facebook group who have the true need, I like hearing about it. I like taking part in it, and knowing that this 500 hours worth of content goes towards helping someone take care of someone they love. That just seems like, what more can you ask for?
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely got quite a few of those similar messages. Actually, I've posted a couple on Instagram too. It's always nice when people are cool with you reposting them and kind of sharing.
Yeah, I multiple times this year I've gotten like random bud pictures or pictures of hash or whatever. Been like, look what I did, and that's just cool. I love it. It's good stuff.
I had one last week, or last Tuesday, I think it was. Someone sent me a thing saying, "Oh my gosh, Steve, thanks so much. We gave we made medicine for our daughter, and she, it stopped her seizure in 46 seconds. Thanks, so much for all you do." And they had taken our class, and they have a special needs daughter, and it was just really awesome to help those kinds of people and be the reason why that kid can have a better day.
Yeah, I can't even imagine on your level where you're formulating medication and advising on on the chemistry level that you do, to be able to hear that something that you helped be a part of stopped a seizure for someone in 46 seconds. That's crazy to me. So yeah, big shout out to you.
Yeah, we're just trying to help. That's why when I worked back when I worked at Aquaponic source, there was this dude that came in and his son was strapped into a stroller, couldn't really communicate with the planet or anything. And then 3 months later, he came in, and they had taken our class. They're growing medicine for their kid, but they were still getting most of it, almost all of it from the store, because they had, it was only 3 months later. And his son had been on 3 months of cannabis treatment, and they had, moved to Colorado as refugees, and or cannabis refugees from I was Florida or Texas or some other state that's not legal. And he opened the door, comes running in, starts smashing stuff on the ground, on the tile, like breaking stuff. But like, this kid was like a vegetable 3 months earlier, and now he's completely aware of the universe around him. Like, why would you want to do anything else? Like, straight up, why would you want to do anything else for the rest of your life? It's kind of a simple answer.
Yeah, or we just had somebody post to the Facebook group not that long ago about how they used it to treat their lung cancer, one of the more aggressive forms of lung cancer as well, and able to demonstrate even to their doctor that it was in full remission, and so all that stuff is just great. So keep it coming. If anything, that's the again, I probably got more of those this year than I have any other year. So if that's the silver lining of 2020, then I guess that's it for me.
Yeah, I think just overall people's access to medicine is going to go up significantly.
That and my $600.
Yeah. Woo.
Might as well give me a T-shirt that says I survived.
Yeah, it's enough for another shotgun, right? Boomstick. No, I'm just kidding. But or grow light. Get your grow light.
That's true.
Or an ounce of weed from that. What's that ridiculously overbranded?
The memes of 2020. They've been great.
Oh yeah, memes of 2020 for sure. Definitely the other big winner of 2020. Some epic memes for sure, especially Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea coming in strong here at the end.
Twisted Tea. I like the one where they showed what's his name getting beat back in the day, and they replaced all of them with Twisted Tea, like with the mob's taking over and like beating him. I can't remember his name right now. But
you saw the original one, right? With the dude getting smashed in the sub.
Oh yeah, I saw the original.
Yeah.
You kind of have to at this point. At some point in the past, it hasn't even been that long. What, like 3-4 days, something like that? Where you're like, what is with this Twisted Tea shit, man? I gotta see. And then finally, you go watch this video of this guy deserving to get hit in the face, and then got hit in the face. And that's it, man. That was it. So yeah, the memes have been crazy on 2020, that's for sure. And yeah, other than that, hey, keeping my dad out of the nursing home for another year, I feel like it is a big win. And I honestly believe that he probably wouldn't have made it out of the fire. My aunt made it out who's fully capable and walks and everything. She had time to get her purse, her dog, and she unplugged her computer tower, put it in the car, and the firefighters were there like, it's time to go, time to go. And she drove out fire on both sides of the road. She was worried her tires were going to explode. So there wouldn't have been a whole lot of time to be able to get my dad out. So the fact that he was already out here probably kept him alive. So I feel pretty good about that too.
So what do you have planned for next year, content-wise?
Well, first things first, it'll just be getting all of our existing content up. That's been like, the biggest thing for this last year was like really getting a lot of it recorded, or getting all of it recorded, which, just looking at the recordings, really went all the way back to March, I think, if I remember right, all the way back when Steve was still in Africa. So, so getting all of that stuff uploaded, will be like the very first part. The greenhouse build will be starting almost immediately within the next couple of weeks. So we'll have that content ready to go. I'll have the LED grow off will be continuing all the way through the year. So I have the March Hydro, like we talked about, the Bloom Plus, hopefully get the Spectrum King and the Spider Farmer. We'll have at least all 4 of those running in the perpetual flower room. I'm going to rework some of the stuff in the veg room. Probably do, I got a new microscope. So I'll be able to do a whole, so it hooks up, it's got 3 megapixel camera, it's an OMAX scope. It's going to hook up to the computer. We'll be able to do microbe identification, much better insect identification. So we'll be able to drill down and do a lot more microscope based stuff in the class. I'll probably add a whole new section to the Teachable platform for just microscope stuff. And I think Steve has one as well, right?
Yep.
So we can add stuff from that. I do have, I already had like a clip-on microscope for my cell phone, which worked pretty good. So I have some pictures that I'll upload of that as well. And then a little digital handheld microscope, kind of like a dinoscope. Some pictures of those as well that we'll upload. And so then we can talk about trichomes, we can talk about microbes in our systems and our teas or whatever we're feeding, any of our nutrients that we're making, any ferments or the KNF stuff. We'll be able to make kind of a catalog of different stuff for you guys to have access to. If you have a microscope, then you'll be able to compare and learn to identify on your own. And if you want to do like the advanced class, or you're really interested in doing microscope stuff, then check out Elaine Ingram's microscope class, because that's sort of the master class of it. You can go through that. What is it, a 3-day course, Steve?
For which one?
Elaine's microscope class?
I have
Or a
no
3-day
idea.
class?
I took the in-person version, so I don't know what the online's like.
Anyway, definitely check out Elaine Ingram's microscope stuff if you're really into microscopy. Is that how you say it? Microscopy? Anyway, definitely check out her stuff for that, but we'll have a lot of just more catalog-based stuff, things that we run into, we'll be able to take pictures of, talk about, have content on the things that we encounter here. So I'll definitely have some pictures of like thrip larvae, just because I know I have them access to them right now. So I'll have some content uploaded on those. And I'm sure at some point when I start bringing in different strains from the outside. If I get different clones that come into quarantine, they almost always come with bonus bugs that we can take a look at. So Pyramid Pure Foods says on level 3 evac, flames and shoot looters. I don't know. I'm not sure what Pyramid Pure Foods is talking about, but good luck. Have you guys played with pulse width modulation with the LEDs? I have not.
We did an experiment when I was at Aquaponic source where we did pulsed LEDs versus I think it was HID, I believe. Yeah, it was halide. It was 400 watt halides was the control. And we didn't, and then we had non-pulsed LEDs, and the LEDs were, I don't remember what the LED company was, but we didn't notice much of a difference. Now, I have seen some white papers about pulse LEDs being better, but the one single time we tested anything, it didn't do anything. Any other questions in chat?
No, not too much. So Pyramid Pure was talking about the fire. That's what he was referring to. So, glad you made it through, man.
All right. Well,
I don't see much else.
We have the new classes coming out. I'll be working on trying to get the book finished and out next year. I think that's kind of my main goal for 2021 is to finish the book and get that out. I have a really cool illustrator who's been will be helping work with us on the book, and yeah, just kind of looking forward to that and just getting a lot of content out. I have a ton of classes and other stuff that is going to be fun to get up onto Teachable, and kind of see the light of day that I think a lot of people are interested in. I have one on aquaponic tree growing that Robbie and I had worked on when I worked at the Aquaponic source. That's kind of a much longer version of the short Aquaponic Fest presentation that I did, and just a bunch of other cool different things that we've been working on. And then I want to get into some cheese making with the LAB. What's up?
Don't you have another class on other types of medicinal plants?
Yeah, I have a medicinal herb class as well. I have 125 different medicinal herbs and how to grow them in aquaponics. So that's a really fun class that I used to teach and I haven't taught in a while. So that'll be also up on the Teachable course sometime first half of this year when I have time to actually record the thing, which right now I'm buried up to my eyeballs in projects. So they've with the virus spreading, they have more work than time right now.
I hear that.
Alrighty, why don't you tell everybody how to find you?
So you can find me at AP Meds, like Aquaponic Meds, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can find me, Marty Waddell, on Facebook, in the Aquaponic Cannabis Growers Group. And definitely come check us out there. Let's see, we're up to, I don't even know, probably like 7,000 members or something like that.
Yeah, we're about 7,000 on there, and then we're at 9.4 K on the YouTube channel. We're almost to 10K. So that's I don't think I ever thought we would hit 10,000 people, and we're within striking distance. So really appreciate everybody. We actually gained almost 3,000. It was 2,700 and some viewers this year, yeah, we had quite a bit. We had fewer episodes this year than previously, but a lot of cool stuff. And then I think next year is going to be much more back to normal. Again, I'm not in Africa, so we don't have that issue.
Not being on 24-hour plane rides, definitely.
Yes, I do not miss 36-hour plane rides.
Oh yeah, 36-hour plane rides. Yeah, sorry. No fucking thank you.
The shortest run I did is 27 hours back and forth. So. Alrighty, well, you can find me at Ponics. You can find more content on your favorite podcast app, Growing with Fishes or Ponics. iTunes, SoundCloud, and all the things. Check us out, our class out at apmjclass.com and the nutrient site over at apmjnewts.com. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you guys